Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad, your best place for weekly content on young American soccer players playing overseas. My name's Austin Van Churn,
And my name's Patrick Ferry.
and welcome to our show. Well, guys, we're finally back after missing, I guess, the last 2 weeks. But, we got a good show for you guys today. And, yeah.
That's right, Austin. It feels good to be back. I know you've been carrying some of the load yourself there, but you've done a great job. All of our fans give this man props over here.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of props more, we have an amazing prospect list that Austin also has been really working hard on, the 19 under 19. So you want to elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so over on Twitter and Instagram, check us out there. We've been posting our 19 under 19 Americans prospect lists. So right now we're on, I believe, number 8 by the time this drops. So go give that a follow and check it out. That's, I guess, some content for you guys in the meantime when we weren't posting. But like we said, we're back today. This weekend was not so crazy, Pat. There wasn't too many great performances, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of players, I guess, on the bench for this one, but nonetheless, we have a lot of other good players to talk about, right, Austin?
Yeah, that's right. So let's start talking about them. So the first player we're going to talk about today is none other than our guy we always start off episodes with, and that would be Christian Pulisic. So Christian came back from injury this weekend in Borussia Dortmund's 4-0 win over Stuttgart. However, he was a substitute in this game, playing, I believe it was 24 minutes for Dortmund. Also had an assist on the day for Dortmund's fourth goal. So, yeah, it was a nice, very calm, conservative assist where he just kind of laid the ball off to Max Philipp. It wasn't, a crazy assist like he had to Jakob Brun-Larsen, which we talked about in last episode. But, it was an assist nonetheless for Pulisic. So,
and they're at the top of the table, right, Austin?
Yeah, Dortmund right now, I believe, sit 4 points clear over Werder Bremen, surprisingly in second place.
Wait, what?
Yeah, right? The Josh Sargent list, or not playing Josh Sargent,
yeah,
Werder
right?
Bremen. But that's a story for another day, or a rant for another day, I guess.
One day.
Yeah, that's right. One day soon, hopefully. But yeah, so Dortmund's in first over Bremen, and then Bayern's in third, because they haven't had such a great start to the year. But as always, they'll come back on. Pat, you know how it goes.
Yeah, right. And Austin, you said Pulisic came off the bench there. Is that I know I haven't been keeping up too much with Dortmund, but I know Sancho's an exciting young player as well.
Yeah, so Jadon Sancho did get the start for Dortmund after the international break. And obviously we talked, again, a little bit about that last episode, where he's right now the top, or I guess the leading assist man in all of Europe. I believe with 6 assists still.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's having a phenomenal year. And most of those assists have come in, performances when he's come off the bench. But I guess, unfortunately, I don't want to be too pessimistic because I myself am a Dortmund fan. So I guess it's not so bad for me, but I guess it's kind of bad for the situation Christian Pulisic finds himself in now. But Jadon Sancho actually scored the first goal in this 4-0 win. So, Christian did get the assist when he came on, so he definitely showed Lucien Favre, Dortmund's coach, that he can still make an impact in games. But right now, Jadon Sancho, I think, is kind of uprooted, should I say, Christian Pulisic. And obviously, Dortmund's been playing Jakob Brun-Larsen a lot, a player who's still very young, and I think Christian Pulisic right now in his career is better than. But they kind of like the chemistry that they've been having last few games, Pat. They've been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've been playing really well together. Really inspired play, I would say. And, Paco Alcacer has been firing all season for them and, just been scoring goals at a fantastic or, amazing rate. So at the moment, Christian's kind of the odd man out, but we'll see what the future has for him.
Right. And also, I know a point you were bringing up earlier off camera. It seems like sometimes Christian's been trying to do too much, you'd say, on the field.
Yeah, I think that was kind of my biggest gripe with him, I guess, to start the year when he got into some trouble in games and was losing possession. It seemed to be he kept trying to dribble at players a little bit too much. But in this cameo, I thought he played really within himself, I guess you would say, and he didn't look to take on players at that same type of rate that he had the past few games where he started. And I think, he was very effective in the minutes he was on the pitch. But Dortmund were obviously up 3-0 and, 4-0 at one point when he was on the pitch. So that kind of, I guess, changed the dynamics of the game as opposed to when he comes on as, a starter. So I think he did well in this cameo. And I think to go forward and to get back into this first team for Dortmund and kind of supplant, in my opinion, Jakob Brun-Larsen, that's kind of the weak link at the moment in the team. Although he's been playing well, I think he just needs to kind of play within himself a little bit more, kind of play within that team dynamic, not look to be the guy who's the creator and, the person who's taking everybody on and trying to, create the goal-scoring moments. I think he's kind of just got to, play within himself more. I keep saying that. And just be a part of the team, not try to put the team on his back as much. But,
right. No, I think you bring up some good points there. Stay in his lane. No.
yeah, I don't want to say that, but or say it that way, I guess. But
I completely understand though. Like you brought up, just to take a step back just for a moment, and I know especially with everything that we've talked about on the show before, and his whole rise in kind of almost that painful experience, not qualifying for the World Cup and. Trying to come back and replicate that amazing form year after year can, take a toll mentally. So, no, I think you bring up some valid points there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season still, and Dortmund are playing very well. So if he can, continue to contribute to that good play, then he'll be right there. He'll be on track. Yeah, absolutely. But now let's go over to England, Pat, and talk about Lyndon Gooch. So, Pat, what did Gucci Bra do this weekend?
Shout out to Gucci Bra if you're watching. Lyndon Gooch. He actually just came back from a hamstring injury off the bench. I think he played about 35 minutes or so, and he had a nice assist. If you want to count two, if you consider him crossing it and one of the other opposing players putting it in the back of his own net for an own goal.
Oh, geez.
I don't know. But you could say technically too, but he did really well. The coach brought him and I think it was another one or two players off the bench to kind of change the game, kind of ease Gooch back in after that injury there. And you could see the instant impact he made. And he was actually on a Team of the Week there for League One.
Oh,
it's exciting stuff for Lyndon there. And hopefully he can continue this great form he's been having. And we hope the best for Lyndon.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive in a 35-minute appearance. He made Team of the Week. That's kind of crazy.
And again, Austin, just kind of picking up where he left off there for Sunderland with those exciting, one-on-one runs and just always that burst of energy and playing with that heart and passion. You could really see that coming onto the field. So if he can continue that consistency, and I think he actually has 6 assists for the season right now, which is good.
Which I think is tied for 3rd or 4th or something I saw, or maybe not tied, but he's in 3rd or 4th in the assist category in League One.
Mm-hmm. Something high up like that. I forget exactly where in the standings, but he's definitely up there. And if he can continue that consistency, that would be great for them to get back into the championship.
Yeah, I think Sunderland sit right now in 3rd position after the weekend. So
that's correct.
They're on pace to get promoted. So we'll have to see what happens later on in the season.
That's right. And also a quick point I want to bring up as well, just in terms of Sunderland and their, promotion. Gooch and a few of the other young players, their contracts are expiring, I think, in July of 2019. So Sunderland has been in talks. There's been rumors, Twitter, things like that Gooch and a few of the other strong young players who have helped carry Sunderland this year are, up for negotiation and things like that. So we're hoping Lyndon. I think it would be a great move for him to, stay with this team here. Seems like he's really solidified a place and helped them rise up. And if he can keep a starting role or make an impact in the championship and hopefully the Premier League one day, I see great things for Lyndon just kind of sticking with this team here.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll try to renew his contract. I feel like Sunderland wouldn't just let him go to the wayside after the season, no matter what happens. I mean, maybe if they don't get promoted, then Lyndon goes somewhere else. But you'd have to think if they do get promoted, Sunderland will give him another contract. Hopefully it'll be up to Lyndon's standards.
So. Give the young lad a contract.
That's right.
But shifting gears to another young, exciting player over in Denmark, Austin. Who would that be?
Yeah, we got to see a lot of them this past week, or I guess in one game. We wish we saw him in another game too. And that would be Jonathan Amon. So Jonathan played 90 minutes for FC Nordsjælland in their unfortunate 4-1 loss to FC Midtjylland in Denmark. And Jonathan actually had an assist for Nordsjælland's only goal in this game. And we just saw a few brief highlights, and he looked like his normal self, making dangerous runs on the wing and getting in good positions and using his speed. So we don't have too much to report. Obviously, we want to maybe talk a little bit about what we saw in that Peru game of him. And
that's right,
Pat. We liked what we saw from him in that game.
We did, and I'm sorry to get a little sidetracked, but I was actually at the because we moved down to Florida. I was at the USA-Colombia game in Raymond James in Tampa, and I was so mad that Amon wasn't on the the roster there, or to be able to play. So that was a little disappointing, but nonetheless, Austin, back to the Peru. Yeah, we definitely liked what we saw. He looked dangerous in one-on-one situations, and definitely you can see that speed that people talk about.
Yeah, we really liked, and I think everyone who watched that game really liked that combination with Josh Sargent down like the left wing.
Yeah, that was nice.
Sargent had that little back heel to him.
Yeah, that little flick.
It was really nice. So hopefully we'll get to see more of that. I think he's going to be a great player for us when he gets more game time with the full men's national team. Obviously, I think he has a few flaws in the sense that he's not as technical as maybe you would hope, or maybe he's just not as I don't know. I mean, we've seen such a small sample size, but just from what we've seen, I love his confidence and love how he's just willing to always try things and always try to put balls by players and get in good positions. I think we saw that in Peru.
Completely agree. I think that's what we were kind of missing, that element to the national team. So you could kind of see it was a little disjointed. I think Peru had a lot of the possession in the beginning of that game, and then Amon, it wasn't really on his side of the field, but then once the ball kind of shifted out there and he was able to get gears in that combination, like you mentioned with Sargent, you could really see some of that raw potential that he had. I think actually he had a really good breakaway down the side, burned a player, and had this perfect kind of it was him and another Peru defender. Then the other side, I think Weyer, someone was wide open. He mistimed the ball there, which is kind of disappointing, but you could see that. I think that was one of the first chances, really good chances that we had in that game. And that kind of accelerated, I guess, the offense from there. So there's some definitely good stuff about Amon.
Yeah, no, that was a really nice chance. I thought he was going to hit Tim Weyer right in time with that pass, but unfortunately it didn't come off. But hopefully we'll get to see more of Jonathan in the future. I think it was from Brian Sciaretta, and I might be wrong about this because I heard of Josh Sargent and Tim Weah being on the 35-man roster for the U20 qualifying or CONCACAF tournament coming up in November. But I think Jonathan Amon is one of those 35 players, so we might get to see him at the U20 level a little bit, and maybe see him go against some younger players and players that are more that he might show off against more, perform better against.
That'd be interesting, Austin. Yeah, have to look out for that. And I think that's in Florida too.
That's right. Yeah, down at IMG Academy.
Yeah,
right?
Have to check out a few games then.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. But Jonathan again had an assist this weekend. Unfortunately, it was in a loss, so it was a good team, Midtjylland, Bill Hamid's former team. So, yeah, good stuff there. Now let's go over to Spain for our final player in this segment and talk a little bit about Conrad de la Fuente. So Conrad has had a pretty impressive past 2 weeks. He actually scored a goal this past weekend in Juvenil A's 4-0 win. So Conrad looked really good in this game from what we saw highlights on Twitter. I don't know, Pat, if you want to maybe go into a little bit about some of those highlights we saw.
Yeah, I mean, he had absolutely. He had this kind of really neat, almost like snake-like move. I don't even know how to explain it. We were trying to talk about it off camera here, but it was the silky smooth kind of touch to get around a player there. And I think actually the guy kind of tripped him, and they didn't really call it in the box there, that it could have been a penalty. It was a really nice move. But anyway, he looked really dangerous and scored a nice composed goal there. You can just really see when he's on the flanks there, he's really, really exciting, just kind of dynamic player. Very Barca-esque, Austin.
Yeah, he definitely showed off his technique in this game, or just his technical ability and close control, I guess you would say. Just dribbling through players. He had 3 or 4, I guess, nice sequences in just the small video we saw, or the short video we saw. So that was really exciting to see. And then I guess we also want to mention that he was actually called up to Barcelona's B team and was one of the players in their 18 for a game that was, I think, 2 weeks ago, over the international break, or just before.
Yep.
So that's really encouraging, because I know, Pat, we were talking about Conrad, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, and kind of his progression at Barcelona, or his supposed progression, or his potential progression, if he stays at Barcelona and goes up through the academy system. And we said the next step would be to play for Barcelona B, or kind of get involved with Barcelona B. So, that's really encouraging to see, especially I think he's still 17.
Yeah,
he's already getting involved in Barcelona's B team. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, just turned 17 in July, so you could see that jump from B, Juvenil A to Barca B. Obviously, the early stages, Boston. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. He is a really exciting prospect, and someone that, man, and a dream. Down the road, it would be great to see him and Sargent with some nice combinations there.
Yeah, and we could definitely see that at the U20 level this summer. Even, maybe this fall. I'm not sure if he's included on that 35-man list, and who knows if Barcelona would let him go for those games, because they have some tough games coming up. I saw in the UEFA Youth League and some other games that they play for Juvenil A. So, hey, if Sargent plays at that U20 level and they get clearance from Barcelona to call up Conrad, and he's interested in still playing for us, which I think, all signs points to yes, then
fingers crossed.
Yeah, we definitely should have our fingers crossed. But, yeah, that would be really cool to see those two together. And add Tim Way into the mix, too. Jonathan Amon. Hey,
man. One day.
Yeah. And then Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams. But, yeah, we'll get there, I guess. And I guess, finally, we should mention for Conrad, he was actually selected to a very prestigious list, Pat. And what would that be?
That's right. I think it was, the Guardian's Next Generation list they have for 2018 of the 60 best 17-year-old players. So just to be mentioned on that list is amazing, and hopefully a sign for a young Ya to rise.
Yeah, they don't mess around with that list. Some of the names I saw in there were, very good players. So that's really encouraging to see that, and see that the Guardian's recognizing Conrad as one of the future stars. So yeah, that's all for our first part of our segment, or first segment of our episode. Let me say that. So now let's go over to Quick Kicks.
All right, guys. I think you all know I've been waiting a long time for this, Austin. This is my favorite part of the show.
I know. I've been waiting for you to say this for a long time, too.
All right, guys. And it's no other than Quick Kicks.
So you could test Dwayne Miller. It's Altidore over the wall. And that one is in! Josie Altidore from a long way out. The opening goal for the United States.
And now to start off Quick Kicks, guys. Unfortunately, Shaq Moore was involved in a 3-1 loss. It was actually a Copa del Rey loss to Almeria.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Weston McKennie was also involved in a loss this week, 2-0 to Werder Bremen, and he looked okay in the game, but Schalke didn't play very well. So that's unfortunate news there.
And not to keep the unfortunate news going, but DeAndre Yedlin was also involved in a 1-0 loss to Brighton for Newcastle there, and he went the full 90.
And some positive news, Jens Kahusta, youth player or young player, I guess, for FC Midtjylland, actually played with the first team in a 2-2 draw, which was a friendly over the international break. So he also got an assist, I believe, in that game as well. So that's some positive news.
Nice. And to keep it up, Austin, I'm just following you here. Navakovic was involved and played the full 90 in a 3-1 win for Tunis Tard. So keep their momentum going.
Yeah, and Emmanuel Sabi actually came back from injury, which was nice to see. However, his team lost 2-1 to Elfsborg over in Denmark.
And another exciting player here, Serginho Dest, had an exciting few weeks to start with. He was actually made his debut for young Ajax. An unfortunate loss to young PSV, but it's a great debut there. And then also during the international break for FIFA there, he was called up to the first team for one of their friendlies there. So exciting news for him.
Yeah, that's good stuff from Serginho. And finally, Jordan Adebayo-Smith, our most recent young Ya, actually made the 18 for Lincoln City in their English League Two game this past weekend. So congrats to Jordan. And now for today's young Ya, we have Reece Jehu, who is a 17-year-old forward who is in Grimsby Town's academy over in the English League Two, just like Jordan Adebayo-Smith. And Reece actually came from Carborough High School in North Carolina and just went over to England within the past year, I believe. So keep your eyes out for Reece. He's sure to do big things in England. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel.
And also make sure to check out our awesome Instagram and Twitter pages. We have a lot of great content going up right now.
That's right, Pat. And right now we have our hashtag 19under19 Americans prospect list. So go check that out, both on Instagram and Twitter. Tell us what you think of our rankings. You know, we've had some conversation about them so far this during the list when it's come out. So yeah, we love to interact with you guys as always, and be ready for the I think the last 8 players or so when this goes up. So
that's right, Austin. And with all these players coming out, they have bright futures and could lead us to that glory one day. You know
that's
what I'm
right.
talking
Where's
about?
my shades? Where's my shades? Future's so bright. I need shades.
One day, Austin.
One day we will win the World Cup.